April 29th, 2026, House Armed Services Committee. Seth Moulton put Hegseth's own words on the table. March 13th, 2026, press conference. We will continue to advance. No mercy for the enemy, no compassion. Moulton read, according to the Geneva Conventions, the no mercy order means rejecting offers from those who wish to surrender or executing prisoners. This is the definition from your own Department of Defense's Law of War Manual. This is murder. Do you still stand by this statement? Hegseth, the Department of Defense fights to win, and we provide our warriors with the necessary rules of engagement. Moulton, you are not being clear. Democratic Congress members want to be tried in the House because they tell soldiers to obey the laws. But when you told them to commit war crimes, you stood behind your statement. If you watch this video until the end, you will understand why that clash became the most talked about moment of this trial. Seth Moulton, a representative from Massachusetts. But the first person to speak was an Iraq War veteran, a former Navy officer who had been deployed to Iraq 4 times, and he put 3 critical questions on the table that morning. Is the war with Iran really being won? What is the cost? And what exactly does the no pardon rhetoric mean in terms of the laws of war? Moreover, all these questions were based either on official data or on Hegseth's own words. Moulton started with Hegseth's own words. Hegseth had previously called Congress feckless, inept, spineless for asking questions. Moulton brought this up directly. Do you think it was wise or spineless for Congress not to ask tough questions of the Bush administration before the Iraq War and to give them a blank check? Hegseth, if you're trying to compare this war to Iraq, Moulton, just to ask the first question, you don't have to be the first person to start a stupid war. Asking hard questions is probably a good idea. This opening set the tone for that morning. Asking tough questions is not spinelessness, it is Congress's duty. Is the Iran war being won? Moulton has moved on to a strategic assessment. I'm asking how the war is progressing from a military perspective. Are we winning? Hegseth, an extraordinary success on the battlefield from a military perspective. Moulton, so are we winning the war? Hegseth, absolutely. Moulton, okay, you are saying that closing the Strait of Hormuz is a victory. Hegseth, we are maintaining a blockade that prevents everything from entering and leaving Iranian ports. Moulton, so we blocked their blockade. They blocked us, so we blocked their block. Then he made a striking analogy. This is like James Madison saying, the British burned Washington, but that's okay, we'll burn theirs too, he said. This statement was particularly highlighted in many sources, especially Mediaite. Machine scanners, confidential information card. Moulton changed the subject. The minesweepers in the Strait of Hormuz. The only minesweepers we have were sent to Singapore weeks before the war started. Is that true? Hegseth, you have classified level information for this. Moulton, what about Trump-class warships? Wouldn't that help? Hegseth, these are forward-looking prospective warships. Moulton moved on. This exchange was brief, but it made a point. Hegseth answered the logistics question with a classified card. $600 for every taxpayer. Moulton calculated the financial table. Let's assume this war costs $0 billion. What does that mean for the average American taxpayer? Hegseth tried to move on to the cost of Iran having a nuclear weapon. Moulton interrupted. I'm just asking if you know how much this costs the taxpayer. Hegseth did not answer. Moulton replied, $600. To your voters in Minnesota and to American taxpayers outside, I would like to ask if there is an extra budget of $600 for this war. This figure was also included in Moulton's official press release. If you've watched this far, hit the like button, because the next part contains the most talked about moment of that morning. War law. Moulton moved on to his final topic. At the press conference on March 13th, you said, no mercy for the enemy, no compassion, no mercy order, or leaving no survivors. This is a war crime under the Geneva Conventions. Are you aware that this could be considered murder under the laws of war? He asked, then added directly, do you still stand by this statement today? Hegseth, the Department of Defense fights to win, and we provide our warriors with the necessary rules of engagement. Moulton, You want Democratic Congress members to be prosecuted for insurrection, for reminding soldiers to follow the laws. Pero cuando les dices que cometan crímenes de guerra, te mantienes firme en tu declaración. And at that point, the situation took a different turn. Hegseth: You implied that we ordered the breaking of the law. Moulton: You answered, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. CNN interview. Death penalty analogy. After the hearing, Moulton spoke with Aaron Burnett on CNN. Burnett asked about his stance on war crimes. Moulton said, During World War II, the Allies prosecuted Nazi submarine captains precisely for this act, killing surrendering civilians or sailors. And what was the result? They were executed. Security context. This was not a concrete accusation against Hegseth. Moulton was illustrating the principle of the law of war with a historical example. There is no official investigation or lawsuit against Hegseth. Moulton also pointed to operations against boats in the Caribbean. There is a lot of evidence of a second attack. They were shot again to eliminate the survivors. This is clearly illegal. This is very clearly illegal. According to the American Conservative and other sources, legal experts had raised the issue of the no amnesty statement when the war began. Geneva Conventions, Additional Protocol 1, Article 40. It is prohibited to declare that they will not accept surrender, will not take prisoners of war, or will kill those who are hors de combat. This situation clearly shows that the concept of quarter giving or leaving no survivors is explicitly prohibited in international humanitarian law, and whether Hegseth's statement falls under this category became one of the most controversial topics of the trial. While Hegseth argued that it was merely a motivational statement and that the actual rules of engagement were applied in accordance with the law, Moulton questioned how these words could be interpreted by directly referencing legal definitions, and the discussion did not reach a clear conclusion throughout the session. Adam Smith's question: Is it collapsed? During the same hearing, Adam Smith, the senior minority member of the House Armed Services Committee, also raised a critical question. Hegseth had said that Iran's nuclear program was destroyed. Smith asked, But you also say it continues to be an imminent threat. How can the two coexist? Hegseth replied, Iran has not abandoned its nuclear ambitions, so the threat continues. This logical tension, defeated and still a threat, was connected to Moulton's argument that this war is at an impasse. John Garamendi's warning. In the same hearing, Garamendi said, You are misleading the public about the progress of the war. The president is dragging us into another Middle Eastern war quagmire. Hegseth. To call it a swamp in 2 months is disgraceful. You are giving propaganda to the enemy. This transaction is also part of the record. Jason Crow's question, personal attorney. Jason Crow brought up Hegseth's personal attorney, Timothy Parlatore. Does Parlatore have a security clearance? And does he attend Pentagon meetings? Hegseth struggled to answer. Crow also asked whether Parlatore had other clients and whether they created any conflicts of interest. This question also went unanswered. The April 29, 2026 hearing was documented with a full transcript from Moulton's official Congressional page. The statement, "This is murder," is on the record. Hegseth's, "The Department of War fights to win" answer, neither accepting nor rejecting the no amnesty statement, is on record. A $600 taxpayer cost accounting is on the record, and the Strait of Hormuz, "we blocked their blockage" evaluation is on record. Moulton made 3 arguments that morning. The first question was strategic. The Strait of Hormuz was still closed, the regime was still in place, and most of the nuclear material had not been touched. So how could this be described as an extraordinary military success? The second question was about the cost. When it was mentioned that the operation's cost amounted to $0 billion, or approximately $600 per taxpayer, Hegseth was asked if he knew this figure. The third topic was legality. He was reminded that the term no amnesty has a clear equivalent in the Geneva Conventions and asked if he still defended this statement, but Hegseth did not directly answer the first and third questions. Moulton had to answer the second one for him, and the challenge to the no amnesty statement left the courtroom and moved to CNN, social media, and the news cycle, because the war law debate was positioned beyond a partisan conflict. The Geneva Convention article cited by Moulton is a documented international standard, and Hegseth's answer did not accept or reject that standard. Both are on the record. Moulton's "no way" question was gaining meaning in a broader context. According to the American Conservative, it was reported that Hegseth encountered protesters as he entered through the door. Protesters asked, "Why did you order the bombing of school children?" This referred to the bombing of a girls' primary school in Minab, Iran on February 28, 2026. More than 100 casualties were reported. The vast majority were children. The Pentagon attributed the incident to faulty or outdated intelligence. Pope Leo condemned the war that included this bombing. This context shows why the no amnesty debate goes beyond an abstract legal issue. In a CNN interview, Moulton linked the no amnesty debate to an operation in the Caribbean. There is also a lot of evidence regarding the orders given to the boats in the Caribbean. They were hit again with a second attack to eliminate the survivors. This is unequivocally illegal. Security note: this was Moulton's own assessment. It was not possible at this stage to verify this specific claim about the Caribbean operation from independent sources. Moulton said on CNN that there was a lot of evidence, but did not provide specifics. According to the American Conservative, reports suggest that the U.S.-Iran war overlaps with narco-terrorist operations in the Caribbean, but the details are unclear. Moulton's reference to sedition was based on a specific date. In November 2025, 6 congressional members, later known as the Seditious Six, released a video stating that the military should not follow illegal orders. Trump said it was punishable by death. This group, including Jason Crow, served on the House Armed Services Committee. Moulton directly used this historical background in the no amnesty question. You want to prosecute Democratic Congress members for following the law, but you stand behind your statement. This documented the asymmetry. The same debate on the law of armed conflict led to different outcomes for different actors. Both are on the record, and this record will be referenced as long as the legal framework of the U.S.-Iran war continues to be debated. Because the phrase, no amnesty, may contradict the definition of documented international law, and Hegseth neither accepted nor rejected it. This uncertainty remains permanent in the congressional record.